And how's it going? Forgive me, I don't look my best right now. I've been so exhausted. I've barely done anything. You can hear some laundry in the background, but that's basically the extent of everything that I've done today. I still have homework to do from my course I haven't done yet, but I just thought I'd come online and I just thought I'd talk to you guys first of all how my fellow TI is doing. It's been a while. I've just been doing so many readings, and by the way, if you haven't checked out Empress Justice Daily yet, you should. Finally found a purpose for that second channel. You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. And of course, Empress Justice Tarot is for those who are strictly interested in tarot and astrology. Empress Justice Daily is where I go into more detail about how real life kind of coincides with my occult knowledge. So go ahead and check those channels out. I'll leave links in the description when I'm done. I wanted to come online to talk about a thought that occurred to me today. So there was this really well-meaning TI. This is not a shame video, so we're not gonna fucking do that today. So there was this really beautiful, compassionate, well-meaning TI that got online and said that some TIs were the most kind, empathic, and wonderful people on the planet. And I really can kind of connect with that, and I understand that, and I believe that TI had all the good intentions in the world. So they basically might as well have been talking about themselves, because the way they chose to deliver that, they were very empathic, very kind, and their criticism of TIs in general was just very good natured. So they were basically talking about themselves when they were saying that. So that was really sweet. But I have a problem with the way that TIs are represented and the way we represent ourselves. I have a problem with it. I don't like TIs or any marginalized group being painted as solely victims with no human flaws. Nor do I like anybody who is a villain or anybody who's privileged being painted as irredeemable villains with no just cause. And the reason I don't like those things is not for the reasons you think. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the reasons why I don't like this whole good guy, bad guy dichotomy when it comes to abuse victims or marginalized people and privileged people or perps, the reason why I don't like this good guy, bad guy dichotomy is because it actually does a disservice to people who are marginalized, and it actually does a disservice to how our torture and how our pain is framed. We have in our minds that, let's be real, let's be absolutely real about the situation and about how we truly feel about being made to be the victims of abuse or trafficking or genocide. There is a deeper part of us in our reptilian brains, in the part of aggression and survival, that if somebody abuses us, there's a certain portion of our minds that believes we deserve what is happening to us. And the people that are abusing us, in the back of their minds, have to delude themselves that we deserve what is happening to us. And in order for that to happen, it has to be painted that the only way that we wouldn't deserve what is happening to us is if we were 100% perfect, purer than the driven snow, empathic, kind, wonderful, all these beautiful things. In order for our pain to even be remotely recognized, let alone done something about, we have to be painted as these perfect beings. We have to be beyond human to prove that we are human. That's why I don't like this idea of us just being the victims of the piece and not having our own toxicities recognized, not having our own flaws recognized. That's why I don't like it, because it actually takes away from what we've gone through. Because if we have any flaws at all, if we've engaged in any behaviors that are not worthy of us, if we have engaged in any form of negativity, it gives people an excuse to genocide, to traffic us, and to abuse us. Hell, that's part of why the TI campaigns are so successful. Because everybody who is involved in our targeting knows exactly what they're doing. But they have to tell themselves, oh, we're doing it to protect the country. We're doing it because this person's a threat. We're doing it because this person's like this or this person's like this. And they will use any normal thing that you do, weaponize that, turn that into a flaw, and then use that flaw to justify exactly why they're doing this to you. It removes your ability to be recognized as a fully complex human being that should not have had your abuse inflicted on you. The fact that you're a human being with flaws, when you have those flaws highlighted as a means to justify what is happening to you, you rob yourself of your own humanity. Who the fuck says you have to be perfect for you not to be trafficked, for you not to be abused, and for you not to be genocided? Who the fuck said you have to be perfect for any of that? Who said you have to be perfect to not have your entire life invaded? Who said you needed to be perfect? Who said you even needed to be a good person? Who said that? If you're not out here trafficking kids or abusing kids, if you're not out here doing that, then who the fuck said you had to even be a nice person, let alone a good person, for people to keep their fucking hands out of your life? Do you understand what I'm saying? There are a lot of targeted individuals out there who are wonderful people, who would never harm a fly. Like, there are so many of us who are wonderful and wouldn't harm a fly. And then there are people like me, casual sinners, but slowly redeeming themselves every day. And then there are people who are, quite frankly, assholes who are TIs. They're racist, they're transphobic, they're queerphobic, they're xenophobic, assholes. And yet when you really look into their lives and you look at the amount of suffering that they're enduring, you realize that whatever casual ignorance they're coming out with, it doesn't justify the genocide that they're actually being subjected to. It doesn't justify it at all. So for me, representing us as these perfect victims, it actually reinforces this idea that we actually deserve what's happening to us. And you know that it's a done thing for victims to blame themselves. That's always the first place we go to. We always want to blame ourselves for our pain. So making out like all TIs, we have to be good people. Otherwise, it's a form of victim blaming. Painting ourselves as perfect victims or perfect martyrs, like painting ourselves as perfect, is actually harming us. It's dehumanizing us, because it implies that if we are anything less than this, then we deserve what we get. It's reinforcing that part of our brains that's like, we deserve this for losing. That's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like it. You don't have to be perfect to be a victim of crimes that are not supposed to be done to you. You don't even have to be a nice person for your torture and your trafficking and your abuse to be undeserved. You don't have to be. It's just a fact of life. You don't have to be. Now, I know some of you TIs are beautiful people. Liza Goldsmith was a prime example. She was a beautiful human being. Loved everybody. There are several other TIs that I could name that I'm really good friends with online. Like, there are beautiful TIs out there, but there are also TIs who are assholes. But not recognizing our full complexity, it allows people to do this to us. It allows people to justify their treatment of us. They don't have to care about the fact that they're accessories to our genocide and our trafficking and our abuse because we're crazy, or because we don't socialize with everyone. Any little flaw that we have, that can be weaponized as justification as to why that's being done to us. So please do not be afraid of your flaws. Don't be afraid of your flaws. Don't be afraid to, I mean, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be fucking reckless and make yourself look crazy on purpose. You don't have to be doing all that. But I'm just saying, don't be afraid of your flaws. Do not be afraid of them. Because you can be as flawed as you want. If you are not a predatory piece of shit trafficking and abusing kids out here, if you're not doing any of that, there is no fucking reason why you should be tortured with DEWs. There is no reason why you should be tortured with acoustic weaponry. There is no reason why you should be tortured with EEG weaponry. There's no reason why you should be tortured with any of that shit. Let it go. Let yourself have flaws. And as for that person who said, oh, TIs are the most beautiful, compassionate, empathic people, you're talking about yourself, my love. You're talking about you. Because you're wonderful. You're compassionate. You're empathic. That's you, baby. That's you. Okay, that's you. And not everyone is as wonderful as you. And that's just the truth of the matter. You know, and they don't have to be as wonderful as you for this TI stuff to be abhorrent. Now we got to get to the other side of it. This idea of the perp as an irredeemable CUNT. Now, no, let me just say cunt, fuck it. Like there's this whole thing, like there's the flip side of it. Perps being these irredeemable cunts or whatever. And the truth of the matter is, I've been aware of my targeting for a long time, right? And I know there are certain people that don't care what they're doing to me. And in fact, to get off on what they're doing to me. I have used a lot of words over the years. I've used narcissist. I've used psychopath. I've used sociopath. These are clinical terms that, truth be told, I have been using to describe selfish and immature behavior. That's what I've been like, just selfish behavior is what I was describing. It had nothing to do with those clinical terms. So Erica Meyer was right. I was using clinical terms where they didn't apply. It was just selfish, ignorant behavior, right? But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to all the perps that were in close proximity with me, I can't describe them as narcissist. Borderline, maybe. Post-traumatic stress disorder, definitely, because a lot of these people showed the signs of that. But I couldn't, in my heart of hearts, describe them as narcissistic, sociopathic, or psychopathic if I really looked at their behavior. The ones who fit into those descriptions are the ones who genuinely did not care. It did not matter what I said. It did not matter what I did, how angry I was, how cool I was. They didn't fucking care. As long as they got to cause me pain, that is all they cared about. But a lot of the perps that I've known and I've witnessed, they do fucking care. They might not care about me, but they do care about the impact that their actions leave on their families. They do care about the impact that their actions leave on their families. They do care about how their behavior might be framed. They do care about these things. They do care about how it affects their community. But for one reason or another, a lot of the people that have been fucking with me were blackmailed. Or they were lied to. And then it takes me coming along, posting some links, giving out some information to make them realize, oh shit, we've been involved in something a lot bigger than we've been told. And the knowledge of that, the knowledge of them being involved in something bigger than they were told, and then knowing they can never escape from the shit that they've been a part of. They can't escape it, because just like it's for life with us, it's for life for them as well. They don't get to leave. They do not get to leave. Because if they do, they become like us, and they don't want to become like us. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place here. And believe you and me, that will send a lot of perps fucking crazy. That will send a lot of perps fucking crazy. You're not going to go crazy. That EEG thing is not going to do its thing unless you cared in the first place. There's no way. Now, we both know that there are psychotronic weapons. I keep calling it psychotropic. I don't know why. We know there's psychotronic weapons being used with TIs, but they're also being used with perps as well. But even with those psychotronic weapons being used, it doesn't mean they're going to care about what they're doing. A lot of the perps that I know that have been fucking around with me, they care about what they're doing and they care about the consequences of what they're doing. Do you understand what I mean? Because they're human. And recognizing the humanity in the people that are doing this to us, let's be clear, it doesn't give them a fucking pass. It does not give them a pass. Recognizing the humanity in gang stalkers, in perps, it does not give them a pass. Not for 1 second. In fact, what it does is it makes ordinary people aware of how when their selfishness goes unchecked, when their ignorance goes unchecked, when their narrow-mindedness goes unchecked, exactly where all of those qualities can lead to. It can lead you to literally being an accessory of genocide, trafficking, and murder, which a lot more people have been involved in than they think. So me humanizing perps, it's not so that I can give them a pass for what they're doing to me. It's not so that I can give them a pass for what they're doing to TIs. But if you humanize them, it makes other people realize how easy it can be to be an accessory for treason, to be an accessory for trafficking, to be an accessory for genocide, to be an accessory for abuse. It makes people recognize how easy it can be to slide into that pocket. The banality of evil, I believe it's called. The banality of evil. Evil through banal behavior. It's easier to slide into that than people think. All they have to do is just trust the people who are more emotionally driven and not ask questions. Hell, I saw that on that fucking idiot's channel, where he had callers calling in who knew nothing about gang stalking or anything like that. Not all of his followers are sociopaths. Some of them are just normal dudes who just call in and are just talking about shit. They don't know about any of this, but it's ordinary human beings that make this work. It cannot work without the rest of us. Targeted individuals cannot be trafficked, cannot be abused, cannot be genocided without ordinary members of the public not knowing what the situation is and not wanting to. Because even though normal human beings have empathy, they have empathy for personal stories and personal stories that are relatable. They do not have empathy for stories like ours, like targets that are completely out of the way and what they see has nothing to do with them. They don't have empathy for stuff like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. Whew, I'm sorry. I think I got eye problems. But yeah, that's why I humanize the perps. That's why I don't just come online and talk shit about how they're cunts and everything. I know they're cunts. But they're also human. They're also human. Dehumanizing people, it does nothing. All it does is make a situation that people think is unreal anyway, even more unreal. It's that same black-white dichotomy that the perps use against us. They can't engage in this behavior unless they've absolutely convinced themselves that we're not human like they are. They can't engage in this without that delusion. So it's important as a targeted individual to not engage in that delusion, to not engage in that black-white dichotomy, to see ourselves as complex and rounded individuals with good past, bad past, whatever you want to call them. Like, it's important for us to see ourselves as rounded. Nobody is perfect. And truth be told, if I'm going to be real with you, you should not fucking have to be perfect to not be trafficked and to not be genocided. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have to be perfect. There's no justification for this shit. Do you understand what I mean? And it's always the worst types of people that are getting away with the crimes anyway. So, like, what is this really doing? Apart from controlling the population, what is gang stalking really doing? It's not doing anything useful or productive. It's just keeping the same status quo maintained by predatory assholes. That's all it's doing. And this black-white dichotomy, it's an important instrument to that. TIs, please stop representing yourselves as holy. And if you are a genuinely good person as a TI, stop thinking that every TI is like you. That's not the case. That's not the case. Keep that positive assessment of people where it belongs, here. Because the same thing that you're seeing in your fellow TI, that's what you have in yourself. If you're seeing beauty and compassion and empathy in your fellow TIs, the likelihood is that that's exactly what you have in yourself. And although you mean well, you're probably projecting. Or you're trying to put all your best qualities into the subgroup that you belong to, which is a common thing to do, but again, it's not helpful. And then we got to get into the fact that, I forgot to talk about the fact that some perps are, there are perps that are not racist. There are perps that have views in line with mine, but they're still perps. It's important to maintain a balanced perspective when it comes to both perps and TIs. It's important because then the wrongful actions against us have more clarity. Do you understand what I mean? So, and on top of that, you can start to see more clearly how the abuse has affected our psyches. Because I guarantee you, there are some TIs who are assholes, but when you really look back at their past, some of them have been TIs all their lives. And you can see how being a TI all their life has actually affected their journey now. So that's another reason why it's important to acknowledge our flaws. Because flaws don't just show up by themselves. So, anyway, I gotta go. I've got some other readings to do and I've got some homework to do. I don't know if I'm going to get around to it or not, but I will love you and leave you, my fellow TIs. Please let me know how you're doing if you made it this far. And yeah, I love you guys very much and we will talk soon. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.